Matt Gaetz pushes to establish a select committee to study UAP. AOC has some really interesting words about all of this. People are talking about Sean Kirkpatrick's letter, and there's a lot of UFO news to go over. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. All right, first off, this is the big news to me, is that Matt Gaetz is pushing for this select committee. So let's just go to what Matt has to say.
Non-human biologics, my jaw almost hit the table when I heard that. And today, White House spokesman John Kirby gave a response so lackluster, it might read to some as an artful dodge or even part of a cover-up.
We believe is that there are unexplained aerial phenomena that have been cited and reported by pilots, Navy and Air Force, that these phenomena have, in some cases, had an impact on our training ranges, on our pilots' ability to fly, train, operate, and stay ready. That alone makes it a national security issue worth looking at. We don't know. We don't have the answers about what these phenomena are.
The White House doesn't have answers, but we have to get them. I can report exclusively to Newsmax tonight that I've joined Representative Tim Burchett, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and Democrat Representative Jared Moskowitz in calling on Speaker Kevin McCarthy to establish a freestanding select committee of Congress to get to the bottom of this UAP issue. Representative Moskowitz joins me in this effort, and he's with me tonight. Jared, we need subpoena power. We need to access secure spaces. What are your burning questions after this hearing?
Well, Congressman, thanks for the opportunity. Well, I mean, listen, you were there. You listened to all of the testimony. I mean, one of the most interesting questions, obviously, is that it's clear that the United States has a UAP program. And what's also interesting is how are we funding that UAP program? I mean, we heard testimony, obviously, from Mr. Grush that the way we're funding that is a misappropriation of funds of Congress. We're overpaying for items from our contractors. And so this is all about transparency. There's clearly more information that is known. This is a bipartisan, nonpartisan, bicameral group that has come together to fight on this. As you know, Chuck Schumer in the Senate is trying to lead an effort for more transparency. So Congressman, I got a lot of information in that hearing, but I think I left with even more questions. And if we have to get that in a classified setting to begin, so be it.
I love it. I really do, because finally we have a body of Congress in the Oversight Committee actually dedicated to furthering the cause of UAP disclosure, transparency, and information. And, as we know, David Grush testified to both chambers in a private setting 2 years ago in the intelligence committees. What has happened? What have they done? Nothing at all. It wasn't until David Grush went public that wheels began to turn. And now we have a congressional body, the Oversight Committee, actually committed to this cause, finally, in a public way. And now, in a bipartisan effort, they are trying to establish a dedicated body, a congressional body, the Select Committee, to further the study and transparency of UFOs. So I love it. I think this is huge. This is exactly what needs to happen. I mean, we actually have Congress engaged in this now. This is amazing. This could be the most significant thing to ever happen for ufology. And, I had been hoping it would be Arrow. I thought that Arrow may be it. And then it got co-opted by the cover-up. But now we have a new hope, which is this select committee formed by this bipartisan effort, if it does indeed get established. So Godspeed, sirs and madams. I hope this happens with all my heart. This is what we need to happen for the ball to get pushed further down the road. And AOC put out a long video talking about her thoughts about all of this. And I'm not going to play the whole thing, but here's a little snippet.
To say, we heard from some pretty credible witnesses. One is a commander who has verified video that is unidentified. So by definition, There are phenomena that have gone unidentified. There are plenty of UAP incidents which have been identified, but there are some that have been unidentified. Now, do I think those are aliens? That's a different question. Here's what I do think. I do think there's something going on. I do think that, and I know that in the past, we've dragged defense contractors before the committee, and I have questioned them. I'll see if I can put a link or something. And I have questioned them, and I have found, and we have found as a committee, defense contractors hiding things. And one line of questioning that I had that was also part of a larger investigation on the committee resulted in tens of millions of dollars, over, I think it was $16 million, just from one smaller contractor alone. Over $10 million getting returned to the public because of corrupt practices. So
there goes. She goes on talking about the corruption and, people hiding stuff from Congress and the American people. And she seems committed to this cause of uncovering this corruption. And I fully support her. I hope she does. Now on to the next piece of news. There's several different news outlets that are covering Sean Kirkpatrick's letter. And I guess rightly so, I suppose. But it is a little galling to see the tone they take in some of these articles. For example, this article from Politico, insulting Pentagon's UFO boss. Sean Kirkpatrick is the Pentagon's UFO boss, torches claims of alien cover-up. The recently established AARO has found no evidence to support these claims, Sean Kirkpatrick wrote. The head of the Pentagon office responsible for investigating UFOs is firing back at a whistleblower who accused the U.S. of covering up a long-standing government program to recover ETs from unidentified craft. Extraterrestrials, yeah. The recently established AARO has found no evidence to support these allegations, Kirkpatrick wrote. A user posted the memo on social media, and Kirkpatrick confirmed its authenticity to Politico. And I think Susan Goff has further confirmed the authenticity of that letter. The memo reflects Kirkpatrick's personal opinions and not the position of the U.S. government, he wrote, which is also what Susan Goff said. The issue of UFOs and potential ET visits to Earth have attracted global interest in the past few years after news reports in 2017, etc., etc., etc. It goes on, quoting Kirkpatrick, to be clear, AARO has yet to find any credible evidence to support the allegations of any reverse engineering program for non-human technology, Kirkpatrick wrote, noting that the whistleblowers have never worked for or acted as a representative to the office. Kirkpatrick also took issue with Russia's comments about the Pentagon and intelligence community. Anyway, I've already made a video about Kirkpatrick's letter, but I thought it was worth noting that it was getting some play on the national and international media. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing, because it may put into the minds of viewers and readers the idea that it's all a bunch of BS. And so Kirkpatrick's letter, which was designed to obfuscate and cover up the UFO phenomenon, may be doing exactly that. Meanwhile, we have people making their rounds on various news sites, most particularly, of course, News Nation, talking about these issues. And, of course, Leslie Kean, very prominent voice, a very important voice to this whole play that we're seeing play out. Let's hear a little bit of what she has to say.
Steps that we're going to see is that other whistleblowers, some of whom have already given testimony to Congress, they might decide to go public, and others may come to Congress now that they've seen what happened at the hearing yesterday.
David Grush said in his testimony that he talked to 40 people over 4 years, all of whom had information on a secret military program that has non-human craft and remains. Is it surprising to you that none of those 40 people has spoken out?
It is surprising. It actually isn't, Elizabeth. I mean, some of them have. One of them actually was in our article in the debrief. A former Army colonel named Carl Nell. I think maybe some of them have spoken out a little bit, and we just don't maybe put it all together. But it really isn't surprising because of the repercussions that people face. And Dave Grush is an example of that. He talked a little bit in the hearing yesterday about the repercussions that he's faced, which are very harmful to him, both personally and professional. professionally for speaking out. So I think others have the same concerns, and they've seen it happen to him. They want to wait and make sure it's safe for them to come forward and not have to face the same kinds of things that David Grush faced.
Yeah, can you?
I hope that happens. I hope there are protections put in place for these whistleblowers, not just legal protections, but, personal safety issues. I mean, David Grush had his house broken into, and that's just the tip of the iceberg as far as reprisals go. Apparently, there were some pretty significant reprisals that he is not talking about. We hear a little bit about that from the recent episode on Coast to Coast. Let's just hear what Jeremy has to say.
But the day after David Grush got back from meeting with us, he got walked out of his office at the NGA, that next morning, and was basically put on probation. It was like, you talking to journalists? What are you doing? They tried all sorts of things with him. He never crossed the line with us, never once. And I would have done it the same way as he did. And in fact, he kind of beat that in a sense. Like, he got all his clearances back. It was this kind of impotent attempt to put pressure and to intimidate him. And he's not a guy that's easily intimidated. So those are the facts. That is the order in which things happened. However, I would like to...
So, instant retaliation for David Grush when he came out talking to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp. Jeremy says it was an impotent retaliation and that he was able to get his clearances back. However, apparently that effort was a short-lived victory because he's out now, and I don't think he has his clearances. And meanwhile, mainstream news sites continue to cover this issue in a favorable and impartial way, and I'm very encouraged by that. Let's listen for just a minute to what Mike Barra, an aerospace engineer, had to tell Fox News.
Begins to move the ball forward. My question is, what are we moving forward to right now?
Yeah, the analogy to the X-Files is actually on point, I think, Mike, because the question is, how serious do we take this story? How serious do the American people take this story? And it kind of exists in this netherland between some fearing this is all a distraction, even Congress taking this more seriously as a distraction from other issues, other scandals, while others of us say this would be sort of a big deal. Like, this would be a big deal if we have a non-human craft, so we should take it seriously. So do you think, okay, what do you know, Mike? What can we take seriously? Was Roswell real? Are we in possession of a non-human craft?
Yeah, I think Roswell was real. It's something definitely happened there. It certainly wasn't a weather balloon. And then,
so there you can see the anchors kind of wrestling with themselves, right? Trying to grapple with their new understanding of reality on live TV, and I love it. And Fox isn't the only one. A whole bunch of sites are running this stuff. They've got John Greenwald here on The Hill. I'm not going to play the video, but it's just all over. Various news sites are talking about this, getting the public engaged, I think, in a bigger way than they have been potentially since 2017. And so whether or not anything actually happens with the select committee or anything, although I really pray that happens, that's what we need to happen, but at least the public is getting engaged in this and informed on this issue. Then you can see these anchors really wrestling with this new reality. And, bring it on, guys. So, mission accomplished, at least in part, by David Grush coming out. Okay, that's my UFO news roundup for today. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. Are you as excited and encouraged by the bipartisan effort to establish a select committee in Congress devoted to UFOs? I think that's huge. But let me know what you think about that and everything else in the comments below. And please hit like, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I'd love to see you guys there. And there are plenty of other videos to check out on the channel. I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.